Hi everyone, this is EstaRa with a message for you today. It is Friday, May 19th, 2017. So I am in a different place in my space, as you can tell, and I have the sun hitting my face really strong, but I wanted to do the message over here. I was feeling really inclined to be by the sun and by the window, so half of me is in light and half of me is in the darker part of the house. Um, so I haven't been online a lot, and a lot's been happening. So I wanted to give you a message for the Twin Flames, and I, wow, there's just a lot going on in my head right now. So I'm hoping I can channel that through to all of you as well, because it's been really interesting and very powerful in the last 20 hours, I would say. Not even 20 hours, I'd say 12 and a half hours. Okay, so let me just tune in real quick. Let me ask for the highest divine guidance available to me to merge with me and flow through me now. I ask for dome of protection to be placed over me as I do this video. And I hope it's not too loud, and I hope you can hear me. I'm trying to speak softly, and I have the microphone away from my face. And yes, I did a different hairstyle. It felt like time for change, and so I chopped off like almost a foot of hair. And I got a little coloring to it. So what's been happening? So the divine masculine is in a massive amount of transitional energy. So what does that mean for all of us? So each one of us has divine masculine qualities within us. And several years ago, I channeled Yeshua and Magdalene at a breakfast. I was sitting and having breakfast, and they sat down with me, and they joined me, and they started to give me information. And they said the divine masculine on the planet currently, in the twin flame couples particularly, divine masculine is about 75% divine masculine, 25% of divine feminine. And the divine feminine in the partnership is carrying 75% of the divine feminine and 25% of the divine masculine. It's like this perfect like mix of we need to be together to be whole and complete, which as twin flames we kind of know that and we understand that and recognize that. And what I was being told was there is this internal shift that is going on with the divine masculine, and it's been really happening since January. I mean, it's been happening for over a year now, but the real shifting occurring internally, like this internal struggle, turmoil, is coming up to the surface since January of this year. The downloads, the awakening downloads and codes were coming in last year, and our embodiment has been happening over the last few months for those of us who've been on this journey, more awakened, more on this path. So the divine masculine is going through change and transition. So what does that mean for the divine feminine? Well, guess what? We have that 25% within us. It varies, and I'm just doing it by 25%, 75%, because it's the easiest way to explain it to you. It was much more detailed from Magdalene and Yeshua. You can find that in my blog, The Conversation. But just for the sake of this conversation, let's leave it at that. I wrote it out that way because it was the easiest way to explain it, and I'm saying it that way because it's the easiest way to explain it. So the divine feminine in the partnership has 25% divine masculine as well. So there is still this internal clearing and cleansing and struggle of clearing out the divine masculine of all programming, beliefs, or thought forms that are no longer connected to the energy of the new paradigm we're moving into and we're creating, and no longer of service to us. And, honestly, when you think about it, a lot of them haven't been of service to us over the lifetimes, but they were at the beginning initially when we were coming to experience being human. And now we're choosing to experience being that spiritual being that is living a human life. And so the divine masculine is going through lots of change and transition right now. And the internal struggle and turmoil is pretty intense inside each of them right now. On the surface, it may not appear that way. If anything, I know from my experience with my beloved, there's like a separation between us at this moment. But it's not, it's a physical separation, I would say. It's more of a pulling in. He's pulling in and he's cocooning right now, and he's in a shell. He's got a shell of protection around him. He's inward. He's, on the surface, I might say, well, he's just forgetting I exist, and he's just trying to deny me and push it away. Well, here's what's interesting. His soul is speaking up, and it's calling out to him to listen and pay attention. And so this morning I was sitting outside in meditation. It's so beautiful, I have to tell you. It's just so peaceful hearing the birds sing. I was up at 5 o'clock outside at 5:30 this morning until about 8. And just being in this space of sacredness with nature, with spirit, with myself, with my beloved during meditation. And then I started to channel a message because I had asked, do you have a message for me or the divine children of the planet? And I was given a message about my beloved, and they said this is actually for all divine masculine right now. They're pulling inward. Some of them are like having less to undo, if you will, and less strings to break free from, less cords to break free from, less patternings to break free from, and they're actually moving fast through it, and they're clearing out fast and furiously. And the unions are happening. They've been happening since the March equinox. And there are some that are still enmeshed in 3D in their reality that they're living. Whether it's real or not is not even the point anymore, because what's interesting is that inside of them, they know, and that voice inside of them is getting louder and louder and louder and more in their face. And so that's why there's been this internal struggle since January, like this back and forth internally. And they could keep fighting it all they want, but what's happening is that it never gets content for them again. They have not found the contentedness that they've been able to seek and find previously. They've not been able to find a semblance of happiness in their life without their divine counterpart. And that's because the energy has shifted so much to putting the focus on the heart and focus on soul's truth. And so while the divine masculine, those expressing divine masculine right now or are in it more so as a divine masculine energy, they are really undergoing transition from inside out. And I know that's been clear and that's been known for a long time. But what I got this morning was really clear to me that the divine masculine is really trying to use like old ways to cope and to distract and to like avoid their path and run away. But Spirit's bringing it right back in front of them. It's bringing it right back in front of them, bringing it right back in front of them. And while they may on the outside appear like they're just oblivious, they're just moving on, they're not paying attention, they're not talking to us, they're separate from us, they are not remembering. The truth is they do remember. It's there. It's inside of them. It's a knowingness that's in them. They may not completely, fully comprehend or understand what it all means, but it's there. And it's time. It's time for them to embody who they really are. And it's also time for them to see that what they're doing, it's not that they're being punished. And what they're doing, it's not that they're being stopped from happiness or stopped from love or stopped from enjoyment. But what's happening is that they need to seek what they know inside of them, go into their heart. Because what they're denying is not you, the divine feminine, not us, the divine counterpart. What it is that they're denying is their own truth and their own self-love. It's like they're denying inside of them what is real. And they're not feeling worthy and deserving of that love for themselves. So it's been really interesting to have this interaction with my guides today because it was a great reminder, and I know it's information that I'm sure some of you have seen or known, and I'm sure other people may have channeled similar stuff, and it's not so, wow, this is new, profound information. But it is information that I feel is necessary to share because we tend to forget. We tend to feel when our beloved or our twin, or whatever word you want to use, I use my beloved a lot, or my other half, and my twin flame, or twin, what happens when they appear to reject us, when they appear to dismiss us, when they appear to run from us. They're not. It's not about us. We have to remember it's not about us. It's about them. They're running from themselves. They're rejecting themselves. They're dismissing themselves. They're dismissing that part of them. And it's funny because some of us are able to see that really clearly on any given day. There's those of us who cannot see that very clearly on any given day. And there's those of us that get glimpses of it. And there's those of us who don't. And there's those of us who seek to understand and wonder why. I'm one of those people. Why? If you love me so much, which I know he does, why is it okay not to speak to me for so long? Why is it okay not to be with me? And that wondering, what does it do? It actually causes more pain for us and for them, because we're not holding that knowing, we're not anchoring that truth inside of us. Instead, we're allowing ourselves to be swayed by the external. And a lot of divine masculine is being swayed by external expectations of them. But what's interesting is that the expectations are changing. We have very extreme energy on our planet right now, if you are not aware. I'm sure you are. We have very extreme um, energies of what it is to be a divine masculine and what it is to be a divine feminine, not what it is to be divine masculine, divine feminine in union. And when you think about that in terms of twin flames, that's the two parts coming together. Absolutely, that's union. But when you think about that on our planet, divine feminine and divine masculine in union, that is a balance. That is nature. That's natural. That's a balance in our universe. But that's also a balance in humanity. There's no longer that suffering when there's balance and when there's a union of the two energies. And, we're in extremes. We're either all divine feminine or all divine masculine. And we're either one extreme or the other. And we're constantly working at balancing. And what's interesting, that's the human design. But the divine feminine, divine masculine twin flames, we're here actually to bring that together. And the way that we do it is not solely by coming together and being one. Now, that is absolutely necessary, and that will bring a divine love anchored here in a way that has never been anchored. But in the meantime, as the divine feminine, as the divine masculine, our job is to actually bring the energies together, right? So bringing the energies together is clearing all the impediments to coming together from both ends, from the divine feminine, from the divine masculine. And there comes a point where on this journey, you question, you doubt, and you fear. And I have to tell you, I think the more that my divine masculine is questioning, doubting, fearing, shutting up, pushing away, dismissing our love, dismissing our truth, dismissing who he is and what his desires are, what his needs are, what his wants are, in terms of giving all that up so that he is appeasing those around him currently. The more he does that, the more it's bouncing into my reality and causing me to question and doubt and fear. But what the beauty of that is, as much as I don't want to believe it's beautiful, it is actually beautiful. The beauty of that means that he's bouncing it into my reality for me to clear anything that I'm doubting. Because if I didn't have doubt inside of me, and if I didn't have fear inside of me about whether we'll come together or not, or if I didn't accept the external and I truly went into my heart and trusted solely what's inside of me, then his reverberating his fears, his doubts, and all his worries and his confusion my way would have no effect on me whatsoever, because I'd be able to hold steadfast in my belief in my truth and my faith in our union. And it's really interesting. So what's happened recently is, in the last couple months, I've been drawn to reading about love, rekindling thoughts of my beloved, of the times that we've had together, the words that we've shared, the feelings we've shared over the last several years, and the true connection that we've had, and all the little tidbits of twin flame relationship that I've had with him. And, it's funny, I do sessions with people, and like little stories will come up for me to share. And oftentimes my guys are like, this is important for, your client to hear, because they'll understand, it'll help them understand it a little better. But it also is a benefit to me. And then hearing other twin flames when I'm working with them, hearing their love story and understanding their love story and feeling that with them is reminding me of my love story and my twin. And, it's easy to see the pain and the fear. It's easy to talk about the pain and the fear. And it's easy to talk about the things that have happened that hurt in a society where that's accepted. But it's not so easy always to remember the beauty, the love, and the moments, and the words exchanged, and the feelings exchanged, looks that are exchanged. My beloved twin flame, he has the most adorable look. I don't even know how to describe the look he has, but it's a look that when he does it, I just get warm and fuzzy inside. And I just, right now, thinking about it, it just gives me this like, ooh, I love this feeling inside of me. And I could just see it in my head so clearly. Even when he's not here doing the look, I can see it. And that's what we need to hold on to. That's where my energy's been focused. That's where my energy's becoming refocused to. Because we've been so enmeshed in the clearing, the purging, the trauma that we almost have forgotten. And I'm not going to say all of us because I don't believe all of us have, but there are those of us who have been on it a pretty long time and have been through some pretty painful things, and we've forgotten that. And, the powers that be have been pretty heavy, dark energies that really don't want us to come together, because that would shift the playing field, right? It will shift the game. It'll shift it in favor of light and away from fear. And then no longer will those entities or energies be fed with the fear. So they amp up, and they like the fact that we're feeling fear, pain, and disconnect, if you will. And so it makes it even harder for us to come into that space. So all of this being said brings us right back to what I was saying just a few moments ago about how I'm being really guided to be in the love and be in that space and recognize that, yes, I still hold doubts. Yes, I still hold some fears. Because guess what? I still have that percentage of me that's divine masculine that hasn't purged and cleared. Yes, my divine feminine has been working really hard at clearing and removing stuff. But my divine masculine piece has been holding really tight. Like, I know everything. I'm safe. There's no doubt inside of me. But there is. There's a little piece of it. But that little piece of it, on the days that I'm not feeling strong, or the days that I'm confronted with a lot of energies, or confronted with not feeling well, or being out of balance in any way, shape, or form, that little percentage becomes a little bigger. Because if my twin is reverberating his stuff my way, not intentionally by any means, because I don't believe he's like, oh, I want you to feel my stuff, but energetically with our connection, we just bounce stuff back and forth with our field. And so it's almost like a dance. It is a dance. It's almost like, think about it this way. Imagine you two being together every single step of the way, every day. And your beloved says to you, wow, I just felt this massive amount of fear when I went to touch your hand. Imagine he said that to you, or she, and they sent it over to you and said to you, and you said, wow, I know what you mean. I just felt it as well. Because you're together, you can recognize that, right? You can understand that because they're sitting next to you speaking that to you. Or they're standing next to you speaking that to you. And you're having that exchange in person. Well, guess what? Energetically, we're having that exchange every day, all along. So as your beloved is like, ooh, I think of her and I'm fearful. I think of him and it hurts. He or she is sending that to you, and you're receiving it, maybe not recognizing it's from them, and taking it in and being like, ooh, I think of my beloved and it hurts. It makes me sad. What does that mean? All it means is you're having that same conversation that you would have in person, except you're not in person. It's happening energetically, and it's coming that way to you. And so rather than just instantly going to the place of, oh yes, I long and I miss my beloved. So in that moment, when I feel my twin sending that to me, of, oh, it hurts when I think of you, I need to stop and take a moment, or we should all stop and take a moment and say, okay, you're here inside me. I know you are. And I'm there inside of you. Let me send you love back instead. Now, that means living more presently. This goes back to my morning chat with my guides and living more in the moment. And they said, EstaRa, we need you to be more in the moment, more in the present. There's a lot of planning, thinking, and what's happening next. And the words they used were expectations. And they said, you have a lot of expectations for your beloved. And I said, I don't really have any. My only expectation is that he comes, that he's here with me. And they said, expectations, thinking, planning. Oh, when he comes, we're going to have this life. We're going to do this together. I'm going to be like this with him. And the focus becomes on how he's going to be here. Like what it's going to take to get him here. What it's going to look like to have him here. And the focus becomes limited. So it no longer leaves it open to any possibility happening because I start to limit it. So I thought, wow, they said, so you do have expectations. You're thinking about how it's going to happen, thinking about when it's going to happen. You're planning what you want to happen. Like, I want to have a family with this beautiful soul. I want a life with him. So thinking about that and planning it, I'm putting out expectations. So actually what I'm doing is creating an expectation for him to fulfill. But then it doesn't allow for him to surprise me. It doesn't allow for him to just appear and show up. And I'm looking out my window because a beautiful, big, large bumblebee, like this size, showed up. But it showed up this morning when I was having this conversation with my guides, and I was channeling from them the same thing. But two of them came and danced by me. And if you know anything about bee symbology, the meaning is anything's possible. The impossible is possible. So what a beautiful message. So thank you, Mr. B or Miss B. I appreciate you showing up and letting us know that you're there. So I feel like that's a great sign and message for all of you as well, is to remember the impossible is possible, especially with twin flames, because we're having a connection with them as if they're here presently in the room. Now, those of us who are intuitive, we know that's possible. We recognize that and we realize that. But those of us who are intuitive, we forget. And so I think it's a great reminder that the conversation that we normally could have in person in a relationship as a twin flame, we're having etherically, consciously or unconsciously. I say that because consciously some of us are able to like talk to our twin and say, hey, I love you. Do you know I'm here? And we know that on the good days, the happy days, right? But there's those of us that don't have that, but consciously we just speak out loud and we're hoping they receive it. Well, they are receiving it. But there's those other days that even those of us who are consciously capable, it's sometimes hard for us to receive that magic and that beauty that might be coming into us because we see it as a negative. Just like I mentioned earlier, if he's having emotion about loving me and he's sending it my way, I'm like, oh, emotion about loving me. And I could take it two ways. I could take it as I'm having emotion about loving him and then spiral downward. Or I could say, oh, I love him. Or I can take it as an emotion like he's having emotions about loving me. That's not a good thing. But it is a good thing because it means he's feeling and he's tuning into his heart and he's recognizing there's emotion there. Does he understand it? Maybe not. Does he get that he's supposed to like reach out to me? Does he get he can reach out to me? Does he get that it's normal? He may not. But as he learns and as we learn to understand what's being sent our way, as that's happening, we start to experience things differently and we start to experience and understand the connection better. And it's funny, like I've been on this journey for so long and I didn't have anyone to teach me or guide me because it wasn't until 2011 that I started to understand the word twin flame because I never recognized him as my twin flame. I recognized him as my other half. And I've always recognized him since I was 5 as my other half. Not him personally because I didn't know him until 12 years ago. But I've always called him my other half. I never thought about the twin flame journey, the words twin flame, because that wasn't in my vocabulary. That's not how I perceived him. And then I started to recognize the twin flame energy as, the twin flame word as it was in 2011, because in 11/11/11, I was at a conference where my guide said, you're already merged. You're merging, and the energy is happening. You are one, and it is the twin flame energy. And they started to really expand information to me from that point forward. I had gotten information over the years before that, but I didn't actually use the word twin flame. I didn't understand it fully, the word twin flame. And I also didn't understand all the different ins and outs of the twin flame journey, and I'm still learning it as I go. And I love that I'm still learning it as I go, because what's interesting is I have a lot of knowledge, tons of knowledge about it, but I'm getting more and more every day because the more I'm evolving and expanding, and the more my twin is evolving and expanding, whether I see that or not physically, he's expanding every day and evolving more and more. And as that's happening, what's actually in fact occurring is more information's coming in, more ways to help one another, more of the truth of the twin flame journey. And, you know, I don't know that this would have happened if I really did have absolutely no doubts and I cleared every expectation away, if I didn't have any fears at all, if I completely purged myself and was empty of all of that, then I don't know all this knowledge would come in. I don't know that all this truth would be pouring into me. And I think that's simply designed so that I would question and look and seek more information, more connection to my twin, but more connection to myself, my highest self, and to my guides. So I just wish that it was easier for some of us. I do. I know it's difficult and it's painful, and I wish that I could just say to you, oh, it's happening tomorrow. But at the same time, I want to say it's happening tomorrow because I want you to have that anticipation it's happening. Just that it's happening. How? Stop thinking about how. When? Stop thinking about when. Just be in it. Be in it. Be in what it is you want to have. Because the longer we question everything, and the more we question everything, the more difficult it becomes because all this energy is pressing upon us to do this, do that, because that's what our planet has always been. But there's also this other energy just to be. And my guides this morning was like, be present. Be present. And I understood that differently today than I've had in a while. And it's a beautiful epiphany. I've had this before. I've been living more present in my life since I met my twin than I've ever have, which alone is an achievement. But the truth is, to be really present in this moment right now is more desirable and more possible and more abundantly, creatively lucrative. Those are the words I just heard in my head. I love that. Abundantly, creatively lucrative. So it's not financial. It's about being lucrative in creativity and magic. And what does that mean? Ultimately, it means manifestation. So I am here today to tell you that there is lots of magic happening. And I want you to believe the impossible is possible. I mean, I've been surrounded by bees today, and they didn't hurt me. They just surrounded me, and they came to show me that it's a great reminder. And one just came by again. So there we go, another message. And also to share with you that I will be hosting a workshop around the June solstice, the summer solstice. So within a couple of days or a few days after, on manifestation. And that is a channeled workshop that my guides have been giving me for a few months now. It was originally intended for February of this year. It didn't work out. Mercury retrograde wasn't even happening, I don't believe, but I had lots of problems with my computer. And so it will be an online webinar that is coming up in June. So pay attention for that. If you are interested in joining my mailing list, please email me at april@soulstarhealing.com. That is inside the links below because I'm having some issues with my website. The form for people signing up on my mailing list is unfortunately not happening. I get a sign up, but there's no information being sent to me. And that's happened several times now. So please just email me and say, please add me to your mailing list. So that's coming up in June. I also have on June, I want to say June 10th, but I'm not positive because I'm not looking at a calendar right now. But I have the Twinflame meditation. It's a group meditation, group webinar meditation. I make it very feasible for everyone. I'd love to have you join me. That would be phenomenal. I have some interesting things coming up, so I guarantee it'll be good. I am also doing energy body upgrades, so pay attention for that. The final one for the month of May is on May 31st. So if you are interested in doing that one, please look at the links below and contact me. But I encourage you to check out the group meditation, and I'm going to be opening communications a little bit more with everybody. I had been really sick, as you know from my previous video. I was very sick, actually, more sick than I wanted to admit to myself, and more sick than I wanted to really deal with, to be honest with you. But it was a very, very trying time the last couple of months, not realizing how bad I was deteriorating into a very weakened state, but I am getting stronger day by day, and I'm feeling much better. It's still slow going. I'm still going slower, but I am taking it easy because I know what I need to do for me, and I'm honoring that part of me. Okay, I'm rambling again, so I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to wish you all well, but I am going to pull a card for you. So before I turned on the computer, I had asked the angels, do they have a message? And they said, yeah, pull a card for them. So I'm going to pull a card for you today. This is the Archangel Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. Let me show you what that looks like so you can see it. Wow, this might be a better way to do videos. I don't know. I kind of like the sun beating in on me. It feels beautiful over here. And I don't know what you can see behind me, but I have a plant behind me. I have a wall tapestry, and then there's an altar, a giant altar that's always going on back there. Not sure if you can see it from here, but you might be able to. And I can't tell because it's really darkened in the video, at least from what I'm seeing. All right, so let's ask for the archangels to join us now and bring us a message, just one for the day, that we all need. Okay, I've been pulling cards, I've been shuffling the cards, and yeah, I'm getting pulled to do this. Getting pulled for 2. Okay. Archangel Jophiel, go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. So let me show that to you. That beautiful card. Well, that's appropriate because I was outside the last couple mornings. It's been beautiful here in Connecticut. It's been really warm here in Connecticut. But I've been getting up really early when it's still kind of quiet out, and all I hear is the birds singing. It's magnificent. I also have little squirrels visiting me quite often. They're trying to eat the birdseed I put out there, and I'm always like, no, we have a little conversation. No, not time for you. So going outdoors, when I look at this, I really feel like it's just about refreshing yourself. So if it's like shift your energy. So if you're outdoors a lot, come inside and quiet your mind. If you're inside a lot, go outside and quiet your mind. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day is enough just to reawaken your creativity. And you're also allowing the elemental realm to come and clear your field. You know, nature is so soothing for you and healing for you that it's just something that is necessary and needed. So I think it's a great reminder for you, but it's also a great reminder for me. And then the other card I pulled, I love this. It's Archangel Michael. You are safe. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. And his dual message is he's guarding the unions. He's guarding our connection. He's guarding our relationships with our beloveds. He's guarding us and he's protecting us, and we are safe. And call on him. I'm hearing really loudly to call on him to help cut cords with anything that's lower frequency, anything that's not of God and not of love. Thought forms, beliefs, projected thought forms, any negative energies or entities. Archangel Michael will help you clear them. You know, I've been working with the archangels a lot recently. Not that I have never, because I always do. But I've been working specifically with a couple of them on my journey, you know, some of the stuff that I'm doing with the healing for myself. They're phenomenal, and they're always there for you. So please, please call on them. And Archangel Jophiel is also saying, if you need some help with creativity or focus, ask. Because that's what I've been asking, and they've been helping. So I send you lots of love and light, many blessings for a beautiful union. Because, my dear ones, it's going to happen. It is happening. Whether you see it or not, it is happening. It's occurring now, in this now moment. So be in this now moment, every moment of every day. Blessings and love. Namaste, dear ones.